Hey guys, thanks for listening to The Spiritual Grind. We hope you enjoy it, and don't forget to follow, hit the little bell for your notifications when the podcast is posted, and follow, and share with your friends. We hope you enjoy it. Leave a comment if there's any topics that you want us to speak about.
Like, follow, share.
Thank you very much, Dr. Jenny. Hello.
Good morning.
How is everybody today? Are y'all doing great?
We are stupendous.
Superbulous.
Fabuloso.
Fantabulous. Good morning, Dr. Jenny.
Terrifico.
Terrifico? Terrifico. What's the co?
Magnifico.
Oh, magnificent.
Oh.
Terrificent.
Terrificent.
That's a good word. I like it. I like it. Terrificent. Hey. Good morning, Dr. Jenny. How are you?
Good morning. I'm terrific. Sick. I'm terrificent. What?
Terrificent.
Terrificent.
Terrificent. That's terrific and magnificent.
Okay.
That's your new word today. I expect to use that. I expect you to use that at least 10 times a day in a sentence.
Okay. I got to figure out how to say it first.
Terrificent.
Terrificent.
What was that movie?
Maleficent?
Maleficent. Yeah, it's kind of like that, but with terrificent.
Terrificent. Okay.
So we've had a pretty spiritual, driven, energetic morning talking through some life stuff.
Yeah.
And
I mean, we've had pretty amazing last few days.
I agree.
Spiritually.
Yeah, it's been kind of cool. We bought a new home on wheels.
A new toy. Yeah.
A motor coach.
Yeah. It was crazy to find it online, drive over,
sign papers,
see it, know that it's the one. Just that vibrational feeling of knowing when you get there, okay, yep, this is the place. I'm where I'm supposed to be. And then you look at a couple of motorhomes before we looked at the actual one, and you're like, you can just feel the vibration of, okay, this one's not it.
Nope, this is not it.
This one's not it. And then you walk into the one that you know is the one.
Yep.
And it just
we
has
both did.
Yeah.
When we both walked in.
It just has a different feel about it. And that's kind of what life looks like in any topic when you're paying attention to your emotional guidance system.
Agreed. Totally.
You just will know.
Yes, I agree.
You'll know that you're in the right place. You'll know that you're doing not right or wrong, but you'll know that you're in divine flow. It's just it's a feeling, and it's a knowing.
I agree.
And you'll get to a place where you can identify what that feels like when you begin to play with it more and more and
Agreed.
Cue in on the frequency of that.
You know, I think the real part of that too is part of the way we live. When, we live pretty out of the ordinary compared to what most people do. We do nothing small, and we go all in when we do something.
Right.
And we go with the mindset of divine flow. We have been talking about buying a home over on the beach for over a year now. And, or a boat. We were looking at boats for a while.
I was going to say it's been more than a year, because buying a home has been everything from, do we live on a yacht in the water? Do we live on land in a traditional home? And so we went on a journey of looking at yachts for a while.
We went on
a journey of looking at homes, and
not once during any of that did we both walk on the boat or walk in the house. When we were looking for houses and yachts, never once did we both say, yeah, this is it.
Right.
You can tell the motorhome.
Right. Exactly. And so sometimes, you have to, and that's a very good example of kind of what we talk about and what we teach is if we had been insistent on the outcome of finding a home and that it had to be
look a certain way
on land that looked a certain way, we would have never come to the place of this outside of the box thinking of this motorhome that is
a home on wheels,
the home that we're supposed to have right now.
And the crazy part about it, I think we may have been humanly interjecting ourselves into that journey a little bit because a motorhome makes more sense for our lifestyle. We like to travel. We like to go see things. We like to go to the beach for the weekend. There's many things we love to do. And a motorhome, actually, if you stop and think about it now, just makes more sense.
Of course. And we were humanly injecting ourselves in it somewhat because we would have come across the motorhome before now.
Yeah, in divine flow. We would have, just like it was, because it's crazy. We looked at hundreds of houses to buy.
Of our definitions and our beliefs, we thought it was supposed to look a certain way.
Yeah.
We had to take a journey that went in a little bit different direction for a little while, but still just stayed
like 4 years
and okay with it.
Yeah.
It was our opportunity to practice. Okay,
yes.
This is not it. This is not it. This is not it. Never once did we go to that place of, oh my God, this is obviously not supposed to happen. Just forget it. I'm not supposed to have one. This is so awful. This is hard. This is yucky.
I did a couple times. I ain't gonna lie. I got to be honest.
And that's fine.
Yeah.
But we didn't hang out there.
I kept saying,
forever.
why? Well, I mean, what's going on? Why can we not find, like when we were looking for the boats? We looked at, I don't know, 50 boats? I don't even know. We looked at a ton of boats. And, online, we went and saw one person. And nothing resonated with both of us. And then we went on the home thing, and there was, a month and a half, we went every weekend and looked at 5 or 6, 7 homes.
Yeah.
And then when we were in town, we were driving around all the time looking for homes. And not once did we both say, this is it, fully committed. Like we did find a home and we put an offer on it. And then we've discovered in the inspection that it was like full of stuff, which just shows me that's not in divine flow.
Right.
And because then
the lady wasn't willing to come off
she wouldn't
the
budge.
money.
$50,000 worth of work and she wouldn't budge.
When we have indicators like that, we just know that, okay, it's not supposed to be.
Right. And then we start looking at motorhomes because you said, well, maybe we buy a motorhome. I don't even remember why. I don't even know why you said it, but I was like, that actually sounds fun. And we started looking. We found I started looking. And then
we'd been looking off and on.
Yeah.
For probably the last year at motorhomes, playing with the idea. But when we finally got on the same page and we finally decided, okay, you know what? Let's give this a viable option
vibration,
and maybe really visit it. We only looked at motorhomes for about 24 hours, truly.
Before we signed papers on one.
And you had gone through and hearted some. And I was like, I'm not buying a used one. So I was over here looking at new ones.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, okay, if you're going to let me buy a land home at this price, then I shouldn't have to be on a dumb budget.
Yeah.
Just because it has wheels.
Yeah, I get it.
And so I was like, I'm not looking at dumb used ones.
Well, I think that some of that was lack of knowledge. I think.
No, some of it was human. And so I had to work through that and release that expectation of I'm not going to be able to find what I want in a used piece of junk that somebody else's garbage.
Right.
And so I had to work through that.
Yeah.
And then once I released that, then the next, say, 3 that you sent me, I was like, okay, these are viable options because they check off more than 50% of my must-haves in order to make this work for me in my mind.
And the crazy part about it, I wasn't looking for new or used. I didn't, and that without a budget in mind.
Right.
I was looking for the specifications and what it does.
Yeah.
And then I ended up wanting to look at 3.
Yeah.
And one of the three wasn't even on the list of the ones it wasn't one we picked. I didn't heart that one. And I don't know.
That's right. It was one that I had found and looked at.
Yeah, you pointed at it on the lot.
No, I had looked at this one online before we got there.
Yeah. And so we're driving around and we have this very wiry salesman. He was kind of weird, but
I tell you, he was something else, man.
He was a true salesman, promising things that he can't do. But
yeah, I'm still trying to figure out
what was he revealing to us?
What was his purpose? Yeah. What was he mirroring back?
Because then everybody else in the office that we talked to were like, yeah, that dude they kind of agreed with us.
I mean, he was chaotic. He was a hot mess. He was disorganized.
Yeah.
Like we went to his desk and sat down, and for, I swear, 5 minutes, we watched him
fidget around like he was on some kind of drugs or something. That's what I thought. I ain't gonna lie. I thought he was like, this dude's on drugs.
Well, if you paid attention to what he was doing, he was picking up sticky notes that had fallen off of his desk. Oh, I need that one. Oh, I need that one. Oh, I don't need that one.
It was like it looked like a crackhead picking up crack rocks. Sorry, I don't mean to be mean, but that's what I was thinking when he was sitting there.
Yeah.
But anyway, go ahead.
I was just saying he was a hot mess.
He was a hot mess. But
disorganized, chaotic.
But he did bring to us in the motorhome that we both resonated with.
Yeah.
Did I mess up your vibration just then?
No, you're fine.
Okay. And so we're driving around the lot, and you said, that's the one I hearted, I think, or pointed at it.
I didn't heart any of them.
Oh, or you had seen it.
I wanted a full-size fridge and a full-size washer and dryer. And he had said, well, let's look at this. Let's go look at this one because it has a lot of the features that you're wanting.
You know, the crazy part, not once did anybody ever ask us, hey, are you got a budget you're wanting to stay under?
Right.
Not once did anybody ever ask that. Or how big a one do you want?
Right.
And we were like, because I said, this is one I wanted to see, but it was at the other lot. And then the guy texted me and said, it's sold.
Yeah.
And so we went to the other lot because they didn't have anything else I wanted to see on that lot. So we went to the other lot and told the guy, this is the ones I want to look at. And he kind of went based off that.
Right.
And then when we get over to this motorhome, it was like, it felt good.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, because we'd already looked at, 2 or 3 before that?
Yeah, 3. Yeah, because he was like, well, there's one other one over here I can show you. And then you had said, oh, I think I've seen this one because of the black or the mahogany cabinets.
Right.
And anyway, but we started looking Thursday. We went down Friday, signed paperwork 4 hours after we got there. And we're picking it up this Friday.
Right.
But which brings me to the topic of the
very
week.
Quick. It was very
in
easy.
Divine flow. Yeah.
Yeah. And that's what we talk about is once you experience that one time and you find the frequency of what that feels like, you'll be able to recognize it every single time.
Yes, totally.
Because it'll be very smooth. It'll be very easy, and it will not be some long drawn out, annoying process. It's just very quick, very easy. Go in, do it.
Yeah,
and get it done and go on. Unless, of course, you choose for it to take longer or be complicated because of your beliefs or whatever, then that's your choice. But we don't have that in place.
No, I think we used the house shopping and the yacht shopping for years to kind of clear the beliefs and blocks and stuff and get to a place of where my topic is today.
Most definitely we used that to clean the proverbial closet out, for sure.
For sure. And so, you know what my topic is? Do you know why we walked on that motorhome and had 0 issues? Because we both knew we deserved it. We are deserving of things in our life.
Of course.
And
we're worthy.
And we're clearing the blocks out of the way, and we're worthy of that.
Right.
And when because I know there's a lot of people out there who will resonate with this. They go to buy a new car, they go buy a new motorcycle, they go to buy whatever that is, a boat, a house, or whatever. They fall into that trap of, before they even get there, oh my God, are they going to approve me? Am I going to? They start filling their head with negative thoughts. And that is based upon, and that creates blocks that are deep-seated or brings up beliefs that you're bumping up against.
It doesn't create blocks. What it does is it slows the momentum of the energy down because it's revealing to you beliefs that are in your way, or blocks, as the community likes to call them. It's revealing to you the blocks that are going to keep you from having a very speedy and wonderful divine flow experience.
Because I can honestly say in this motorhome purchase, I never once thought, A, what is my budget? B, they're not going to approve me for this.
Right.
It never even crossed my mind.
No, I left that morning. For me, when you said, let's go look at motorhomes tomorrow, at that very moment, I was like, okay, well, we're going to buy one. And I knew that we would come home with one.
I did too.
And I walked on the lot, and it was never a, oh my God, are they gonna do this? Is this gonna work? Or can I find the right one? None of that came into play at all, because like you said, I think probably 2 years prior, we had used the other experiences to really clean that closet out and clean that vibration up. Which allowed us to have that divine flow experience in the way that we did. And
I want everybody to understand the deserving part of it. And we are, as human beings, we work our tail off, and we're here to be, and I mean work our tails off. I don't mean like at work and employment. I mean, yeah, well, that's part of it. But I mean like, we're constantly trying to improve ourselves. We work our tails off to become better people all the time. We, at least the majority of us, and we get to a place to where we want something, but we don't feel like we deserve something. And that is where a lot of people mess up. And so, but the beliefs that we bump up against are what causes that lack of deserving energy. You agree with that or no?
I just think it could be worded differently.
Well, word it differently then, because I'm kind of fishing here.
You're fishing?
What
kind of bait are you using?
Buzz bait.
Oh. Well, therein lies your problem. How about that little pink worm that's got the glitter in it?
Hey, I want to get one of those. When I was a kid, I worked at a fish farm, and they had a buzz bait, or a bait that they put on top of the water that only attracted the female fish. It put out a vibration. And it was like, it put out a sound and a vibration that only the female fish would hit.
And you want one of those?
Well, it was cool. It was cool to watch, actually.
Okay, you don't fish.
Yeah, I don't fish anymore. But
and why would you only want female fish?
Because they pull them to get the eggs, so they could. It's a fish farm.
I mean, are you wanting to eat fish eggs?
No, I mean they.
Are you wanting to start a fish farm?
I just thought it was cool because it's vibrational.
Oh.
It is. It vibrates and makes a sound. All it is like a white thing. It's not even. It doesn't even look like a bait. It's like a little tube that it goes out there and it floats and it vibrates and makes a sound, and it's got 2 little hooks on it.
Okay. Well,
but
you do you, boo.
I don't know why I went on that rant.
Okay. Whatever you want to do.
Hello. Is it you?
See what I have to live with, man. Sometimes.
So let's talk about the beliefs that keep us from deserving or getting what we deserve.
Well, ultimately, the prime place that one would want to or try to get to is understanding that we do deserve and that we are worthy. And that we are deserving and worthy because we exist.
Yes.
That's just really the bottom line, black and white of it. The simple fact that we exist in the all that is evidence that we are worthy to be here. We do deserve every bit of it, or we wouldn't exist.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that we can't really even conceptualize non-existence is basically another factor of evidence that says you deserve it. You're worthy. It's the societal and the upbringings that have planted seeds in our programming that have made us believe that we're not worthy or that we don't deserve.
Yeah.
Depending on what structure you're going to talk about.
Yes.
So if you talk about the parental structure, unfortunately, and quite possibly inadvertently, meaning they didn't purposely do it, but because of the way they were brought up,
Yeah.
they taught us to have a lower perspective of our deservability and our worthiness so that they could get us to mind, if you will, or behave in a certain manner.
Yes.
Because if you're one of those ostentatious kids that knows that you're worthy and deservable, you're not as easy to control. You're kind of just out there with ADHD, as they want to call it, and you're all over the place, and you're kind of a parental nightmare because you won't be controlled.
Yes.
And parents don't know how to navigate an uncontrollable, or what they perceive as an uncontrollable child.
Because they feel like they deserve something.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay. I'm following you.
If you're talking about fitting into the construct of the society and corporate America and the job, they are wanting to limit your worthiness and your deservability because they're in it for the game of getting as much out of you as they can for the least amount of money because it's beneficial to their company.
Yeah.
Or to their general overall construct, be it a corporate company, be it a mom and pop company, or be it a governmental entity.
Yeah.
And so we've been purposely, or maybe not purposely, programmed to question our deservability and our worthiness all along the way.
Yes.
So whenever you really stop and begin to contemplate your level of deserving and worthiness and really get clear about that for yourself, then a lot of beliefs and stuff will come up and give you the opportunity to clean that space up, because you are worthy. And nowhere in the divine book did it say you have to self-sacrifice along the way.
Yeah.
Getting the population to the point of I can have my cake and eat it too.
Yeah.
Is really my goal in it. Because whenever you truly can see your value and your worthiness in whatever topic it is, you will truly change your reality in the snap of a finger, in the blink of an eye.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times if you're navigating, and we'll take an example and we'll talk all the way through it. If you're in a personal relationship with a partner and you don't quite think that you deserve to have it all or worthy of having it all, you'll navigate that relationship sacrificing your wants and desires so that the other person gets to have theirs. And that's fine and wonderful if you can find a feel-good place within that keeps you at a high vibrational state. If you're doing it because you truly enjoy it. Sorry, editor.
Sorry.
That's my uncontrollable child who won't sit still.
I know it's right. I just picked up my ball.
If you are in a relationship and you're not quite clean on your perspective of you deserving to have this wonderful, perfect relationship and worthy of it, then you'll make the sacrifices from an energy of feeling like you have to in order to keep this person happy so that things in your life are copacetic or neutral. But then what comes into play is as you begin to change your perspective of, you know what, I am a little more deserving today than I was yesterday. then sometimes what happens is they'll become a resentful energy of, he gets to do this and I don't, because, or he's doing this and it's affecting me in this way. And so you have to be careful, because that will take you down an energy frequency of,
it's not beneficial.
That doesn't feel good. And then it will start to tarnish your relationship with your partner, because you're viewing it as he's doing something to you, when in reality, you created your reality by giving him permission to do what he's doing based on the level of which you saw your own value, your own worthiness, your own deservability. Same thing will happen in a job. If you go into the job having and we'll put it on a scale. If you feel like your deservability and your worthiness is only a 3, and you go into it becoming more and more awakened of, you know what, I am an asset to the company. I can do this. And you prove it to yourself, because at first when you go into the company, you're not so sure because it's kind of an unknown. And then you prove to yourself that you can do it, especially if you do it more than once and it's repeatable. Then you clear and clean up the beliefs, patterns, and programs within that. And your deservability and worthiness increases, your value increases. Then you potentially could be mad at the company for not giving you in return how you view yourself,
your value,
in a valued way, rather than saying, okay, I have grown to the place where I now see my value is a 5 or a 6 on the scale rather than a 3, because I've gone in, I've done it, I've proven to myself. So instead of being mad at the company, I'm going to go ask for a raise. And if they don't give me a raise, then I get to make a choice. Do I stay doing what I'm doing at the rate by which I'm doing it? Or is it time to move along on my journey and go find somewhere else that's going to honor and resonate and vibrate at a frequency that my new level of deservability is at? And you get to choose.
Yes.
So if they don't give you the raise, then what happens most of the time is people will go and find that next level of company that says, oh, I see what you bring to the table. I see your assets. And yes, I will pay you this amount of money compensation wise. And you all come to a vibrational negotiation that works for both of you, because your frequency has elevated in that category of deservability and worthiness, and you just keep climbing the ladder. And that's sometimes why your journeys change in your job, or sometimes even in your relationships. It's because your frequency rises. But you have to be willing to look at it a little bit differently and not go into the blame template or the victim template of, my partner is doing this to me and I no longer like it. And so I don't like my partner, or I'm aggravated at my partner. My job is doing this to me and I no longer like it. So I'm just going to quit and be mad, and the company's crap and whatever, right? You control your reality all the time. And so coming at it from a different perspective of seeing that it's not that you don't dislike the partner or you dislike the job. It's just that you're ready for the next level of learning. And you now see your value as more. Your container is a bit bigger, and you're ready to allow a little bit more in, because you've grown your container bigger, because you've proven to yourself and validated to yourself the next level of worthiness. It's like anything else. It's hard to get from a level 1 to a level 10 in one hop. And so if you're seeing yourself as not deserving at a level 1, you got to do the work, and you got to validate to yourself that you can do the work to be able to now categorize yourself as a level 3 or level 5 or a level 7, whatever it is. And then from there, you reevaluate your reality and you make decisions from there. Like I've already stated, if it's a job situation, you go to the company, you ask for that raise at your new viewed value. And if they give it to you, then great. You keep the job and you move on and continue to grow and evolve. If they don't give it to you and they're not willing to negotiate, you then get to have a choice. Do I stay where I'm at? And can I still find joy and excitement within what I'm doing? Or do I need to relocate jobs because the frequency no longer matches where I'm at? Same in a relationship, be it friend or romantic or whatever. Same with your relationship with money or material things. It's all the same. It just depends on what you value yourself at when it comes to I deserve or I'm worthy.
Okay. Well, that was a long one. There's a lot in that statement.
It was beefy, but I needed to get all of that out there because there's many different directions out in the collective.
I agree.
This goes in many different directions.
And
it's a big one.
I agree. I think the part of it that everybody needs to understand is everything in this life that we do is based upon the beliefs behind how we previously lived and stuff that has come up, along the way that we have created these levels of thought that can be intrusive, they can be intentional, whatever they are, whichever level of thought they're at, they're still based on certain beliefs that we have created from past experiences. And when we get to a point to where our life, or if we're doing things like for example, if you go down to buy a car and you don't feel like you deserve that car, or if you go to buy a new pair of shoes and you don't feel like you deserve those shoes, and then everybody starts going down this roller coaster path of well, if my job paid me more money, if this happened, if this was this way, and they start running through all these different negativity beliefs, which is very intrusive and can affect your reality, then you have to stop and say, well, wait a minute, why am I doing this when all reality is I can have anything I want as long as I have a belief inside of me that it's okay and I deserve it.
There's a little bit of a frequency in the vibration that in order to be spiritual, you can't have materialistic things. There's still some of that hanging on.
There is a bunch of that out there, actually.
And so I feel like we need to have a conversation about that because that's...
Well, the reality is we are all deserving to have what we want.
And that's such a misnomer.
Yeah.
Like you don't have to be a minimalist.
Yeah.
And you don't have to... That's...
You don't have to live in a van down by the river.
That's part of that self-sacrificing template
that you're taught.
That you're taught. You don't have to self-sacrifice.
Don't get me wrong. I think there's a part in everybody's spiritual journey to where they kind of minimalize their life because they have to become recentered to grow. And I think there's kind of that part in a lot of us that went through all this. Is if you stop and think about it, there's a part to where you eliminated things in your life to remove the energy behind it so you could see more clearly. But it's not saying that you have to do that nowadays. Things are much different now.
Yeah. I mean, collectively, we've raised our vibration as a whole. And by doing that, it is giving us more insight into truly understanding how the whole mechanism truly works. But it was a growing thing to get to that point.
Yes. Because you're right.
Vibration.
It is a big thought out there in the the spiritual world is that you have to live in a van. You have to, you need to live off grid basically, and
reduce your footprint on Earth because Earth
you have to
is
eat
not
vegan.
able.
You have to, you can't have any. You don't want anything live, and it's not that way anymore.
No.
It is okay to have things. It is okay to eat any way that resonates with you, and it's okay to be who you are, and not be judged.
Yes, that was all just part of the transition.
Yeah, I agree.
Getting the different levels of beings from that point A to point B place. That was all just part of it. Raising the frequency. This is kind of a rabbit hole topic.
Yeah, it kind of is.
Raising the frequency as a whole so that we could see clearer and clearer how it all works and what the mechanisms are. You just take that next best step and that next best step.
Well, the spiritual grind is here to tell everybody that you all deserve whatever it is you want in life.
Yeah, you can have whatever. And you can have a bunches of whatever.
I think how you get there is you have to stop and learn and look at the belief behind where people have told you it's limited. That's where you got to look at it, and where you've learned through past experiences, because sometimes we have a tendency that when something doesn't work the way we want it to, we'll log it as a negative experience in something that we did, when the reality is we hadn't cleared the belief. Like if you go to buy a car and you get denied, and so you'll drive home with this negative connotation or this negative aura about you and your energy that you are blaming yourself. And it's not really about blaming yourself. It's about you didn't clear the things out of the way first and find those beliefs that's going to make you walk in there with an energy of doubt.
Right.
And you should walk into anything that you're doing with not an energy of doubt.
Yeah, because what we know these days is that as soon as you decide you want something, whether you have beliefs in there or not, the minute that you can daydream that you want something, it is created.
Yes.
That parallel reality is created by your higher self in the most profound way.
Yes.
And it is our job to find the frequency of that and increase our frequency to line up with it so that we have that experience. And if you're having an experience anything other than an elated, magnificent experience, it is a direct result of beliefs, patterns, and programs that you're seeing that experience through. And it could be based on a historical event that you experienced that caused you to formulate a belief. It could be something that you were taught in your lineage. It could be a societal taught thing, many different things.
I agree.
But getting to the place of always the first step is when you're consciously aware that it's going on, that is truly the first step.
Yeah.
Because if you go around just as an unconscious being, running around willy-nilly like a robot, unaware, then you're going to continue to get more of what you want. And you'll create a reality on an unconscious level, and depending on what your vibration is. And so it'll be sporadic.
Yeah.
And that's why it'll feel like sometimes you feel lucky because
feels unintentional.
You've raised your frequency somehow and you don't even know how.
I don't even know how you did it.
And so then you're aligned with that frequency of that reality, which feels incredible. And so you're like, wow, I had such a great week.
Right.
I must be lucky. Let me play the lottery.
Yes. And I think where people need to where we should go in this, I think next is understanding that you do deserve. But the next step of that, I believe, is being okay with the journey. Not so much where you go in, like I'll throw the same car example out there. You have now cleared your belief out of the way and you feel like you're deserving of a new car. And you go in to buy a new car, but you still get denied. And it has nothing to do with your beliefs or patterns or programs. And that's trusting the journey. You're not supposed to have that car. Or
it could be you're giving yourself a pop quiz.
Pop quiz, yeah, to see if you're going to get through it.
Because here's how the mechanism works. You want to evolve and you want to grow. So you clean up beliefs, patterns, and programs, and it's not, the situation doesn't matter. It's how you react to the situation that will show you that you've truly changed as you desire.
Like if you go in after you work, you feel like you worked on the beliefs, and you go in and try to buy this car again, and you walk, when you start getting there, you start having those intrusive thoughts. You got to learn to control those.
No, it's not that you have to learn to control those. You need to stop and realize that you haven't changed.
Yeah.
Because you are doing exactly the same thing you did before. You're giving yourself a test. I think I've got everything out of the way. And so let me go try again so that I can see how I react. And if you go in reacting the same way you did before, then that is an indicator to you that you've
missed something,
not defined something in the best way. You've not gotten to the core belief. There's something still causing you to react that way.
Because I had this conversation the other day before yesterday with one of the employees, and what was said was, man, I couldn't do that. I would be so nervous. And, I was like, why? When it's in divine flow, it's easy, and you can allow yourself to have emotions behind it and be excited about it. Like we were both excited to go look at motorhomes.
Well, yeah.
We were excited. We were talking about it. We were talking about our must-haves and our, what we don't care about. We were going through this whole and we get caught up as humans because of a past circumstance historically. We will stop ourselves from having emotions based upon a want. Like you go to buy a new car and you're not excited about the thought of buying a new car. So you have blocked that emotion based on a previous experience. And so not only do the belief has to be cleared out of the way, but you have to trust the journey and allow yourself to have emotions behind it.
Well, yeah, because excitement is a vibrational frequency by itself.
Right.
And if it's not something exciting, then you might want to stop and look at why you're doing it.
Why it's not exciting, yeah. Or what, yeah. Well, I agree.
Why are you doing it then?
I agree.
If there's not some sort of excitement or intrigue or interest or joy or fun in it, whatever it is.
And be relaxed with it too.
Why are you doing it?
Like when we were
and the only thing I can come up with as to why you're doing it is so that it purposely, by design, will cause you to trigger a belief that you're ready to have come up and look up and evaluate and do something with.
I 100% agree with that, because I think what really stands out in our process that happened when we were buying this motorhome, like in the middle of the process, we had signed the applications and all that stuff, and we were hungry, so we go across the street and we get some Arby's, and we come back and we sit at this dude's desk. And Jenny's sitting there watching a movie with both her headphones in, and I'm just eating and kind of just hanging out, listening. I was listening to something in my headphones, and the guy just kept looking at us like we were crazy.
Like we were just kicked back, chilled, man, waiting for the process to work itself out, and waiting for the event that we were experiencing to be what it was.
There was no doubt that we were going to own this motorhome in my mind.
I mean, we just went in like we owned the place and got comfortable and ate right there in front of him. Like he was on some weird journey of fasting or something. So he sat there and slobbered over our spicy fries from Arby's. We offered to get him something.
Yeah, he said he was fasting until 4.
And, I mean.
And when I asked him, you asked him why he's fasting, and he said, because he's got to do something to make up for the whiskey he drinks at night. What a curious answer.
You do you, dude. Whatever.
But I think the reality of all of that is first of all, if you want something, you deserve it. Second of all, you got to look at your beliefs. Third of all, trust the journey. Fourth of all, allow the emotions behind it, because emotions are part of the driving force of intention.
And they'll help you identify
the journey.
That there's something more to look at.
With your navigation system, that's correct.
Yeah. I mean, if you're having an emotion that's not happy or fun or joyful, and it's anything less than that, it's a pretty good indicator to look at, why am I having this emotion about this?
Yes.
Why am I having the disappointment? What belief or what definition do I have in place that's causing me to be disappointed? What do I have to believe to be true to cause me to be aggravated or irritated or disappointed or any of those emotions that are not pleasant?
Right.
It's a good opportunity to be able to, I guess, ring your bell and
Yes.
have you stop and look at it. Because if you're having those feelings within it, that's the biggest indicator and the easiest indicator, even for people who are newly awakening, to be able to say, okay, there's something inside of me that is causing me to view
Why am I scared
in this manner?
Yeah. Because I heard that, like the conversation I was having, she was saying, "Oh, I'd be too scared to do that."
You talk about being scared a lot.
I do. Well, I'm talking about I wasn't scared. I'm talking about, they were talking about fear. They had a fear.
I understand.
And so I talked her through it. I'm like, well, if you're in the right direction, doing the right things, the fear is only historical. And you're based off.
It can also be not just historical. If you've created some lie story in your head that if I do this bad thing is going to happen to me, it could be just that you've created a story in your head that's not even true, and you don't really even have to have currently or in the past experienced that firsthand. Right. You could just be creating a story because you saw somebody else go through it.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I agree.
And then you've created your version of the story.
And I think the funny part about it is we did this and didn't even think about it until just now. You know, we were setting intentions about this motorhome as we were driving, and I didn't even think of it as setting intentions.
Say more.
Like we were talking about our must-haves.
Because you're saying we.
You and I, when we were having the conversation on the way to the RV place, we were talking about, okay, you said, okay, I want to have a full size, I must have a full-size refrigerator. I must have a washer and dryer. I must have a big bed. You know, I must have a place for the cat litter box. We were in our own way setting intentions on this motorhome that got brought into our reality because we had followed the belief systems. You know, we went through these stages. We cleared the beliefs out of the way throughout the years. We have, we trusted the journey. We allowed to have ourselves to have emotion about it because we were out here kidding around, talking about it and having fun thoughts about it. And then on the way there, we start setting intentions of what we're going to get. And I think that, and it came to fruition.
Well, for me, I was communicating to you what my must-haves are. I had already set those intentions, and I wanted to make sure that you were on the same page as me so that my time was not wasted.
So you were humanly interjected into the intention you already made. Okay. It don't matter how it worked. We worked. It worked, and it was very smooth and very easy. And, you know, 3 or 4 hours later, we signed papers.
Yeah. It was very
the next day, we got insurance, and then the loan people or the financial institution sent us the paperwork on DocuSign. We signed all of that. We turned in the trade-ins, and we pick it up Friday morning.
Yeah.
And it's been a very, very easy journey.
Yeah.
I mean, don't get me wrong. When we were going through this process, not once did I ever think, you know, when we were looking at boats and looking at houses, and when we were going through that process, never once did I think I was clearing my journey out of the way for this to happen so easily.
Right. And even as long as we've been doing it, sometimes you go through the journey and you don't really understand why something is happening, but being able to just go with the flow and understanding that everything happens for a reason and everything is going on, allows it to manifest in the highest and best way. And
I agree.
And so, yeah, not getting jammed up about and getting all mad and frustrated about the whole boat adventure. And we say boat, but we were looking at yachts so we could actually live on them. So bigger boats, obviously. And same with the house and not being able to find, like he said, the house that was like both of us just look at each other and we know this is the one. I mean, don't get me wrong. Humanly, when I'm in the middle of it, when I'm sweaty and I'm tired and we've looked at 15 houses in a day and I'm exhausted. Yeah. I mean, humanly, there were moments where I was like, oh my gosh, I'm done with this day.
Yeah.
Let's just go home and stop. And finally,
I think that house,
even humanly, I was like, you know what? When we put the contract on that one house, humanly, I was like, you know what? I'm just over this.
Yeah.
Let's put it off till the first of the year because I'm just over playing this game. It's obviously not the right time or not the right place, or there's something about this that is not quite clicking into place for us because we've experienced divine flow on many occasions. And so we know what that feels like, and we know what it feels like when it's not that.
Yeah. I agree.
So we'll beat our heads up against the wall for a little while, but then finally we're like, okay, I'm tired of this.
I think the communication part of it was a crucial part of that house because we both looked at it like, this is a doable house. We never once did we both say, yeah, that's the house. I think it was more like, yeah, it's a doable house. Mm-hmm. And it probably checked 7 of the 10 boxes.
Right.
Because the driveway was small and the house itself was kind of eclectic, which is what we wanted, but it wasn't very owner friendly. Mm-hmm. And it didn't have the place for the cats. We were going to have to create that. Mm-hmm. And so I think in divine flow of all that is we were wise enough on our journey to stop and say, I'm not going to pay full price for this house.
Well, to bring it back around, we were wise enough on our journey to say we deserve to have
what we want,
the place that we want, and this is not it.
Yeah.
We are worthy of having exactly the kind of house that we want, and this is not it.
Yes.
And being okay to walk away from it, acknowledging that we're worthy and deserving and not settling.
Right. And especially, I think we went at it very, very fairly. We didn't charge her for the total estimate off the price of the house. We split it with her. And I think that was to me an indicator that we in our spiritual awakened state did the proper steps and the emotions that's not going to create future bad beliefs. Okay. And that's kind of where I was at.
Whatever story you need to tell yourself.
And I think in divine flow, it all works out perfectly.
It just wasn't meant to be.
No, I agree.
Don't need the backstory.
And so to recap on it all, I think that I just want to make sure everybody understands that you do deserve what you want.
Yeah.
And you do deserve to be what you want and do what you want and go and do the things that you want in life without fear, without, negative beliefs. Stop and look at it. When something pops up, stop and look at it. Set your intentions. Be excited. Allow the emotions in. Trust the journey. And it'll all go in divine flow.
Yeah. I mean, the conversation could go much deeper, but in light of time and trying to keep it under a certain
controllable
time,
so
that we don't drone on, because it could be quite a rabbit hole situation. So maybe we revisit the topic and go.
I think we need to get into the belief part of it
too, because there's a whole other level of conversation that could be had in it.
Agreed.
So
anyway, I'm excited. We bought a house that we can take anywhere that we want to take.
Our little hermit crab shell.
It's not very little. That'd be heavy though. But anyway, I feel good. You feel good?
Yeah, I'm good.
I think we will do a part 2 on this one.
Yeah, I feel like it needs a part 2.
I agree.
So be looking for the part 2, and we'll go down the rabbit hole.
You are deserving.
Yeah. Really check in with that and look at what your viewpoint is of yourself on the worthiness and the deservability part of it. It would be much beneficial to most people,
Agreed.
most entities.
All right, guys, like, follow, and share. Don't forget to look us up on social media at the Merck Centers. Our website is www.themerckcenters.org. And leave us
and ring that bell.
We appreciate y'all. Y'all have an awesome day.
Love you.